core. Who am I? Hello, human family. I am Occult Priestess, Corinne Wilson. I am an awakened psychic, shaman, mystic, guru lady who prefers the creative aegis of Occult Priestess as a title. How did I become the first original Occult Priestess? Settle back and I'll tell you my story. I was born into a Jehovah's Witness family with a full-blooded Native American Cherokee great-grandmother named Daisy Dill. She had a son who turned out to be Senator John Glenn, and my grandmother, Faye Evelyn. Daisy placed them both in foster care during the Depression. Faye never seemed to get over that. My mother was an amazing triple earth sign, a hairdresser / counselor. My father mostly drank. My stepfather, the man who I grew up with, was an abusive, psychotic Vietnam vet. My sister, the oldest, had insurmountable insecurities which fed her rage and abusive ways. My brother, the middle child, was also weird and abusive. My mother, although hopelessly codependent, she was a good woman, and I always admired her. I experienced shamanic death within 3 months of my birth at the hospital because I could not breathe. Eventually, this developed into asthma. My mother told me stories of how she would hold me for hours, just willing me to live. Some of my earliest memories are of sleep paralysis, the boogeyman, and horrifying nightmares. Astral projection was a large part of my childhood. I did anything to escape the shadow that was after me. I've always been highly sensitive and visually psychic. I did not set the game board in my favor when I picked my family or when I picked my birth chart. It is my knowing that my soul cast my life script upon the waves and influences of the planets. The major life lesson I chose to learn was dominion. For other things and beings to have control over me. Growing up psychic and loving God, there were many magical happenings, mostly when I was alone. I remember being in very high states of consciousness as a child. I was always told I was an old soul. Strangers often commented how exotic or mysterious or powerful I was. I had no idea what they were talking about. At age 16, I was active in the Rocky Horror Picture Show as Magenta, and I began studying Wicca. And you can see those videos here. In my early 20s, I became a Reiki master teacher under Anthony Agee. Through my Reiki master, I met my soul's mother, my guru, Sri Mamal Devi, also known as Maria Rose of South Africa. She was the best example of a female I have ever known. Guru Devi was about 63 years old when we met, and I was a mere 21. I had no idea what a guru was at the time I was with her. Yet I did fall in love with her and treat her with the utmost respect. She respected that I had knowledge of my own and talents that she did not possess. I was in no way her equal. She had, obviously, her kundalini had risen. People would pay money just to be in the room with her. She was a very important lady, but I had no idea at the time. so I was in no way her equal, but she seemed to treat me as if I was. I got to spend nights at her house with her. Like girlfriends, we bonded over spirituality. I am forever grateful for my Guru Devi, Tashi Ling, in the Karma Kagyu lineage of Buddhism. Egoically, at the time, I was pursuing my identity. I worked in a nightclub as a psychic to my peers. I got to dress as gothic as I liked and took many dance breaks. That was a sweet job for a budding psychic who also wanted a lively social life to explore herself through dance and art. I dated, fell in love, fell out of love, dated some more. I do believe this life is my last life on this earth plane. And with that comes a lot of karma cleanup. And that was why I think I had so many boyfriends when I was younger. I found confidence in my spooky look. And I felt the world was a sad place. And I didn't want to hide that. I wanted to express it. It's very Buddhist of me, actually. Samsara, world of suffering. So I had a developing ego self on one side and Guru Devi with her egoless love on the other. This was an amazing friction to refine my character. For years, I made my living purely from tarot readings. In 1999, I was newly married, pregnant, and about to become a co-owner in an occult store. Talk about pressure. I learned a lot in the 4 years I ran the occult shop in Cincinnati, Ohio. Having a store was never enough. I was not there to get rich. I was there to build community. So I created and pulled off many rituals, a coven of over 28 people, seasonal camping festivals with guest speakers, a large once-a-year Halloween witches' ball dance at the Victorian Southgate House. I was a new mother, not only to my son, but to an entire area of pagans. This was the beginning of my Ziggy Stardust ego death. My dedication to others was way out of control, and I had very little support, even from those who benefited most from my work. The more good I did, the more rumors abounded about me. There was no pleasing the pagans. At age 30, I was out of the store. I moved. I left my husband. My son had recently gone to stay with my mother, and I was alone, with no community. This began my ego death. And there's a whole series of videos here if you would like to watch an ego die and what happens during and after that process. I had diligently worked with the psychology of Carl Jung for many years. Through his work, I was led by spirit teachers to break the codes of the subconscious. A Western way to say I was finding enlightenment. I had been teaching for years, dedicating most waking moments to the great work, as we call it. I had a very active relationship with the gods and my guides, as well as my inner self. I've been keeping a journal since I was 14 years old. This was the tool that allowed me to be so insightful for myself and others. Having broken through my subconscious childhood barriers, I'd made it past the guard that protects all gateways of initiations. And then miracles and madness began to occur. I became a clear, conscious channel for the energy we know as Hermes, the Greek god. Around 2006, my best friend Lydia and I co-owned and ran Aquarius Star, another go at having an occult shop. Lydia and I are both Aquarians, born on February 11th. She's blonde and I'm brunette. We were the sun and moon archetypes, which worked for a witchy vibe. We worked our asses off for 3 years. I'll tell you, that was not easy. I worked very hard at that store and with those people. Then I met a man and I became romantically involved, and then my back totally gave out on me and I could no longer work. I was in bed for the better part of 2 years with 2 slip discs in my low back and serious chronic pain. In 2011, I anchored the vibrations for the 2012 shift. You're welcome. You see, I'm used very often as a conduit for God's work. This is the deeper part of my story. If you have time to stick around, it's about to get esoteric. I'm telling you, sir,